In Turkey, protests against the arrest of a leading opposition figure, the mayor of Istanbul, stretched into a seventh night with nearly 1,500 people arrested so far. Police used water cannon, pepper spray and rubber bullets to disperse thousands of demonstrators in Ankara and Istanbul. The protests are calling for Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu to be released. Imamoglu was arrested last week on corruption charges. His supporters say the arrest is politically motivated, as Imamoglu is the main opponent of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Several journalists covering the protests have also been arrested and are facing trial. Now let's bring in Ilhan Uzgel. He is the deputy chairman of the Turkish opposition party CHP. That's also the party of the arrested and ousted Istanbul mayor Ekrem Imamoglu. Let me start by asking you, how is Mr. Imamoglu doing in prison? What does he tell you?
Well, our leader has met him recently, and he has a very high morale, and he asked all Turkish people that we should stand firm and we should defy the authoritarian style of the Recep Tayyip Erdogan's government. So we are walking on the footsteps of a resistance here in Turkey, that millions of people are taking to the streets to protest against the imprisonment of Mr. Imamoglu and against the democratic backsliding in the country. So he's in a good shape. He's challenging Mr. Erdogan from his jail prison, from his cell in Istanbul. But this is a horrible moment for Turkish democracy. We have to accept it, that we're moving from a semi-authoritarian regime to a full authoritarianism in Turkey under the very eyes of the world.
Now, let me ask you this straight. Can you rule out the possibility that there is any truth to the corruption allegations against Imamoglu?
Not at all. Not at all. Initially, they charged Mr. Imamoglu for corruption and terrorist links. So all of a sudden, they decided that these terrorist charges are not viable. I mean, they're not substantiated. So they dropped it. So if it's a very cliche for any authoritarian system, that if you're a political opponent, you're accused of either corruption or terrorism charges. I mean, this is so classic. This is so conventional now. So, I mean, let me tell you, the whole municipalities controlled by the opposition parties, they are under regular and constant public inspection. All their financial transactions, public bids, they're all surveyed and scrutinized by public officials all at the same time, all over the country. So it's not possible, especially for an opposition mayor to go into a corrupt dealings. That's not possible in Turkey's conditions now. So all these charges are very weak. The government has developed a system, a mechanism in the judicial system, that they develop this secret witnesses or anonymous witnesses. They find people and they say, I heard some rumors that this person is getting bribes, etc. That's not a good way of charging people in Turkey.
Now, your party has just nominated Imamoglu as its presidential candidate. Technically, the elections will not take place for another 3 years, but even if they are brought forward, can Imamoglu remain a candidate if he stays behind bars?
Well, Mr. Imamoglu is our candidate, no matter what the government thinks and no matter what Mr. Erdogan does to prevent him to run against him. So that's for sure. Because it's about Turkish society. 15 million people, they waited in long queues to show support for Mr. Imamoglu. That's the reality of Turkish political system right now. So nobody can change it. Yes, you're right. That there are three years technically as the general election scheduled, but we're expecting elections to be somehow earlier than three years, probably after 2 years. But Mr. Imamoglu is still our candidate in the election, the coming presidential elections, and we're going to nominate him. It's not up to Mr. Erdogan to choose his candidate, to choose his opponent. So we are a political party. We have the backing of millions of people. Mr. Imamoglu has the backing of millions of people. So we're going to nominate our own candidates. It's not up to Mr. Erdogan to decide who is going to run against him.
Now, I'd like to hear your opinion on the international reactions to Imamoglu's arrest. Here's what German Chancellor Olaf Scholz posted on X. He said the arrest of Istanbul's mayor Ekrem Imamoglu is a depressing event for Turkish democracy and for our relationship. The political opposition is not to be put on a trial. Is this the reaction you were hoping for, or do you expect more?
Well, I mean, I don't want any confusion here, that we are not looking for allies in the world. We're not looking for foreign support, because it also backfires for us domestically. But many countries, if they're sensitive to human rights abuses, if they're sensitive to rule of law in countries who wants to be part of Europe, so they can criticize Turkey, they can criticize Mr. Erdogan, but we're not searching for allies. So we're going to stand firm against this oppressive regime. Our young people, they're fighting for their future, they're fighting for democracy in Turkey. This is what counts. So otherwise, I mean, yes, we were expecting from European, especially European parties, European leaders to speak firmly against, to take a stronger wording against Mr. Erdogan's abuse of power. But we were, I mean, if you have high expectations, you are disappointed. So I'm not disappointed anymore by any kind of reaction in the world.
Now, you said earlier that Turkey is moving from a semi-autocratic state to a full autocratic state. Are we witnessing a democracy dying there in Turkey?
Almost dying. I mean, if you're a candidate to run against a president and you end up in a jail, if you're an ordinary citizen posting a critical message on the X, and you end up in jail, and your police raids early in the morning into your house, journalists, business people, workers' union leaders, politicians, students, if they face trials, so that we cannot talk about democracy. There is no separation of powers in Turkey for a long time. And the judiciary is not independent anymore. So we cannot call this system as a democracy. We have lost it some time ago, and this is our duty to stand against this democratic backsliding, which reached to a level of full autocracy.
Now, police are apparently cracking down very hard on these demonstrators. What does that say?
Well, they're because the government is afraid of streets. Erdogan, this is Erdogan's one of the traumas, that back in 2013 there have been mass protests across the country. Millions of people protested against the Erdogan government for more than 3 months. So Erdogan is scared that the same scenario can be applied here, that millions of people, this time with a worsening economic conditions, soaring inflation, very severe housing crisis, young people graduating from their colleges cannot find jobs. They're looking for fortune in other countries. So under these circumstances, it's a nightmare for the government to see millions of people going out to the streets and protesting against government. This is a nightmare for any authoritarian leader in the world, and it's a nightmare for Mr. Erdogan too.
Ilhan Uzgel there from the Turkish opposition party CHP. Thank you very much.
I thank you.